Hey there, welcome back to the channel. My name is Carrie with Blue City Pickin, and if you're new here, I am a part-time reseller that goes around to garage sales, estate sales, thrift stores, online auctions to find things to flip for a profit on eBay and only eBay. I am a single platform seller, but that is what works for me as a part-time seller. This is, sorry, all kinds of crazy things, notifications. You get to see me in my fancy work clothes. All thrifted, by the way. Um, this is what sold for the 4 days, October 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Ching number 71. We hit right in my desired range as far as what sold, how it sold, number sold, all that good stuff. Let's see, we sold 20 items over 4 days, so average of 5 a day, which is exactly what I am trying to hit in my sales goals. Gross sales of $514.15. That is inclusive of taxes and shipping. So that made my average sale price at $25.71. Sales price, what I agreed to pay with the buyer was $372.54 or an average of $18.63. My purchase price on these items was $66.49 and the gross profit for these 4 days was $215.21 or a 57.8% margin and an average profit per item of $10.76. Bread and butter was definitely the name of the game these 4 days. I had 14 of the 20 items that sold that were in that bread and butter category, and I had 6 that were sold at above $15 profit per item. I had something that sold within a couple hours of me listing it, and then I have something that sold that took 509 days to sell. And that is something that I have quit picking up, so I shouldn't have any more of those issues with that one. But my average for this week was 85 days listed, which is right in that 100% sell through. And normally, when I'm not trying to purge old inventory, this is right around where I sit. It's between like 80 and 100 days on average. But over the summer and the past few months, I've been trying to clear out some older inventory at lower prices. So that number had been much, much higher for the past few cha-chings. All right, you want to just go ahead and get into it? No need in belaboring the nonsense. Actually, one more thing. So for the week, so the full 7 days, I sold 1175 in, let's see, gross profit. I sold 50 items. I had a profit of right around $500 and therefore at about $10 per item. As I've said before, I consider it like you'd be leaving a $10 bill, and a lot of the things that I sold were very low maintenance, like don't take up a lot of space, easy listers, easy shippers, and spending 10 minutes on something to make 10 bucks, I will do that. All right, let's go first. This was a new with tag Vans off the wall orange camo mesh back trucker hat. I had picked this up on Whatnot about a month ago for $6.37 was my average cost of goods that day. Got an offer for 14, which I accepted, and so I made $4.09 after 12 days. Next is the 509-day item. This is a 2010 Anna Lee 6-inch lighted centerpiece. This was a really cute mouse. It was Christmas, holiday. It worked. It sat all last Christmas season. I had the price down to 12 bucks and it sold finally. I had $3.99 into this from a Goodwill back in April of 2024. So I made $4.92 after 509 days. Not a good flip, and I have quit picking Annalise up. Next is a lot of 3 handmade quilted burlap cottagecore pillow fronts. I paid 50 cents for these at the bins back in June. I was deciding what I was going to do with them. I just went ahead and listed them. Got an offer for $4.99, which I accepted. Looks like I got a little bit back on shipping because I made $4.96 after 104 days listed. This was a fun find at a recent estate sale. This was a 1982 Barbie Loves McDonald's playset sign replacement part. Had $1 into this from an estate sale. It sold for $9, and so I made $4.98 after 15 days. I just want y'all to know that like this was the only thing that was in these toys that was McDonald's, vintage, Barbie, Mattel, and I just picked it up and threw it in my bag. And because they were making deals, it was the last day. I put $1 cost of goods on this, but I probably paid like nothing for it. So don't overlook like pieces and parts that could be replacement parts. It's definitely worth picking them up. They don't take up a lot of space. Easy lister, easy shipper, easy $5 in my pocket. Next is a classy couture smocked embroidered Thanksgiving dress for a little person, 6 months old. I actually picked this up at the bins. It had a stain on it, so I had stain treated it, put it out in the sun to bleach. So it didn't make it into my Once Upon a Child bin that I took the last time, which is perfectly fine because I sold it for $9 and I made $5.52 after just a day listed. Next is another horror VHS. I sold, what did I sell? Evil Dead 2, I think about a week or two ago. Picked these up at an estate sale a few weeks ago. This was a Scream 2 demo promo screener. So if you'd had a video store, you would have gotten this as a promo screener. Had $1 into this. It sold for $11.20, and so I made $5.83 after 9 days. Next is another bins pickup. This was actually the very first day I ever went to the bins. I picked this up back in March of 2025. It is a Nike Florida State Seminoles unisex black swoosh dry fit adjustable sports visor. Lots of words in there. $1 into this. It sold for 10, and so I made $6.59 after 197 days. Next item is a Busia Sweet Dreams Baby Chick Bunny Elephant Sheet Pillowcase Kit. This was actually a quilt top kit. I did message the buyer. They did not respond. There were very close-up pictures that said this was a quilt top kit, so I hope that they don't say item not as described. Had $2 into this at an estate sale back in the middle of August. It sold for 12, and so I made $6.84 after 29 days. Next is another pickup from an estate sale a couple weeks ago. This was a new Luminara scented pillar candle, real flame effect in the ivory color. Had $2 into this. It sold for 12, and so I made $7.82 after just 3 days listed. Next item is a lot of 30 pull bows, holiday green, gold, red. They were all new. So these were bows that if you pulled them, they would make the fancy bows that you usually buy at the store. This was just the individual ones that you would make yourself. I had $2 into these from an auction from the end of August. They sold for $12.60, so I made $8.06 after 12 days. Next one is something that I had already sold, and it came back to me. How a child's cape didn't fit. I'm a little perplexed. I did go back in there and make sure that it was noted that this was child size, and then I turned off returns for the second time because I'm basically just breaking even at this point. This is a Disney Parks Royal Princess dark blue gold shawl cape, one size, and I put Halloween costume in there. Sold for $12.60. It came from a home clean out, so I made $8.21 after 24 days, but I just got it back and relisted it. So it was only relisted for just 3 days before it sold again. So if you see these and you're in around Halloween time, also people are buying this stuff to go to Disney World. These things are expensive, so keep an eye out for it. Next up is a bra sale. I picked this up at the bins a few weeks ago. This was a 40B was the size. This was Soma women's purple plum in bliss wireless back closure adjustable bra. $2 into it, sold for 15, made 8.84 after 8 days, and I will be right back. And it's like I never went away. All right, next up is a fun one that I just found last week and it sold really quickly. This was a Y2K Hollister short sleeve polo shirt, men's, size extra large, navy and white striped. I did put the keyword preppy in there, but there were a lot of other keywords in there too. I picked this up for $5.99 at a regular Goodwill on the 30th of September. It sold for $17, and so I made $9.76 after just 4 days. $10 bills, y'all. Next is a pair of Adriana Goldschmied, the Stevie jean, slim, straight, size 32 regular, stretch denim. Picked these up at a local Goodwill back in June for $3.50. They must have been half off because our jean prices are normally $6.99. They sold for 19, and so I made $10.91 after 101 days. Next is like one of my favorite sales I think I've ever had because I have had people just like look at me super weird when I pick up certain things at the thrift store, at the bins, like at an estate sale. Somebody's probably like, why is this woman picking up all these used crayons? I don't know, but guess what? I sold them. So this was a huge lot of vintage crayons, like legit vintage crayons from Benny and Smith. They were made in the USA, huge lot. They were all used, right? Like none of these were new. Otherwise, they would be worth some serious gold. But these were all used. I did have one box. The box was not in great shape. I did keep it in there and included. I paid $2 for this at an estate sale back just like a month ago. Sold for $25. And so I made $15.06 after just 12 days on a bunch of old used crayons. Yep, don't look past them crayons, y'all. Next up is a pair of Doc Marten kids boots. They were black patent leather, the US size 11. I did pay $10.16 for these at a regular Goodwill back the day after Christmas of 2024, apparently. They sold for $30.55, and so I made $15.27 after 280 days. I think I started a 10% off sale on October 6th. So on Monday, towards the end of the day, I started a 10% off sale. I don't know how much it's helped or hurt, but it's something that, well, it's a 10% off coupon that they can use, and not everybody uses it. So lots of people still do best offers. That doesn't bother me. I would send out 10% off offers on most of these things anyway. So if it gets them to do it and buy it on the front end instead of looking somewhere else for something just a little bit cheaper, the 10% off coupon does help convert sales. So just a couple of days in on the coupon, I will have more to report when I talk about my sales for today, tomorrow, and Saturday. And today I have already sold 8 things and I'm waiting on payment for 2 more things. So super happy with the sales for today so far. Next item sold is a Lego Jurassic World, dinosaur fossils, T-Rex skull, and footprint. This came from our personal Lego clean out. Sorry, my nose is itching. From our house, nothing into it. I probably am losing money on this because I'm sure I bought it for like $30 to $40. It sold for $21.60 and I made $16.02 after 16 days, but it is cleared out. Next is another patchwork quilt top. I sold one last video. I got the other 3 listed, and this one sold within a few hours of it being listed. This is a scrappy patchwork quilt top, unfinished. It was rectangular in shape. No, this was not the rectangular one. This was the one that had like hourglass looking design on it. This was actually going over to England. I paid $2 for this in a big auction lot back in August. It sold for $22, and so I made $16.24, but I didn't get it listed till the 6th. So it sold the same day it was listed. Next is a fun sale. This is a rare vintage Homer Laughlin Kitchen Craft Art Deco leaf ball jar. I did pay up for this at a local Goodwill back in July. I paid $10.23. It sold for $44.10, so I made $23.62 after 78 days. And my best sell of the week, which would have been even better if I hadn't undershot my shipping when I originally listed it. This was a vintage 14-inch Moroccan round decorative plate. It was marked. It was floral and geometric kind of at the same time. I paid $9.75 for this at a local Goodwill last December. It sold for $58.90, so I made $31.67 after 281 days, which I'm super happy with. One more time for the people in the cheap seats. Oh my gosh, I got interrupted again. No big deal. Okay. Where things came from that I sold. Goodwill coming in a clutch this week with 57% of the profits coming from there. 20% from estate sales, about 10 each from auctions and my house cleanouts, 2% from whatnot. And then let's see what the genres were. Household goods coming in clutch with those last three sales. My three best sales of the week were all household goods. That was 55% of my profits came from that. 28% from clothing, including shoes and accessories, 9% from toys, and 7% from collectibles. So, all in all, not a bad 4 days. Happy with my week results with the 50 items that went out the door, $1,200 in sales, and $500 in profit. That is going back into my bank account. 63% margin. You really can't ask for much more than that. I'm really happy with those results. And if you do want to go check out the store, there is a 10% coupon on the store right now in October of 2025. And I think it's Spooky Month 2025. I do like to run a Spooky Month coupon every year. So last year I ran one during Spooky Month and it turned out really well. So I'm going to do that again this year. So it's on the store. Go on out there, take 10% off any item. I don't think I have any exclusions, even my most recently listed ones. And I appreciate you coming by, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.